RGT, man, I seen a video you did recently. First of all, I want to say a couple things first before I start going in. And I want to pull up the video too, because we will be going over this. I want to make sure I go through things and put them in the right context, right? I got some different notes I've taken. Okay, I don't need these notes. Who cares about these other notes? I don't care. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Some good notes here, okay? I want to pull up the video of RGT, because I think a lot of people have agreed with what he said. And a lot of people have jumped on the bandwagon of this, but I just refuse to jump on the bandwagon. I'm a little different. A lot of people listening might not like this. They might not agree with me. I might be in the wrong on this, okay? I might be in the wrong. But I'm going to put this video up. Hold on. Let me get to it. Can I do my thing? RGT? Can I do my thing? Can you stop talking, please? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, everybody do me a favor. If you can, please share, like the content. And I want y'all to at RGT85 for me. RGT, I'm clipping this up and I'm putting at you anyway, man, because you got to get this smoke, man. You ain't the only one. There's been a lot of people doing this, man. All right? And I know people are going to agree with them. And I'm going to be the one that's going to go a different route. Joe, I want to say, Joe in the chat is the same thing, right? There we go. I want to put it with Joe. I said a game crash would come before he said it. Said a game crash will happen. All right. Joe said it, just the same thing. A game crash will happen. Okay. I want to ask a couple people in the chat right now. Okay. First, last year and this year, the start of this year and also last year, has a video game crash happened, and is it currently happening? That's my first question. For either last year of 2024 or this year. It's my first question. Has a crash happened, or is a video game crash currently happening? Because I seem to sway the other way of a lot of people. And RGT85, I want to say, unless Dave X. Can't stand this guy. I ain't gonna lie, man. RGT, man. I don't really watch RGT videos like that. I can't say. He does numbers, man. He's out there. He's doing his thing. So I want to say like that. He puts out videos, and it's a lot of video game videos. And anybody in the realm of putting video game videos out, I want to dap you up. It's enough for all of us to grow, and you keeping us all grown. So much kudos to you, RGT. I ain't gonna lie. He got one of those sluggable faces, though. He got a sluggable face. But my guy is definitely doing numbers. So, one thing I want to say is that RGT has said, like many others I've heard, states that there has been a video game crash, and a video game crash has happened last year and is continuing to happen. I disagree. I disagree highly. I don't just disagree. I almost want to say it's rage baiting, right? And I know everybody didn't expect me. I know. Everybody didn't expect me to go that route. I think it's rage baiting. I think when I hear the words video game crash, I think of terrible times. I think of things like Great Depression times, right? Where there are many people losing jobs, companies shutting down, and also everything around is terrible and there's no good. That's what I would determine as a video game crash. That is not happening. Now, in some of the statements I said, I can't agree. There are a lot of shitty games out there. A lot of shitty games being released that are not being updated properly. Even before release, even in beta stages, it's terrible. They're getting released, terrible. And you're waiting months for updates, terrible. We just seen Warner Brothers. You dirty bastard too, Warner Brothers. You dirty for that. But multiple studios, Monolith, I believe it was, multiple studios being shut down left and right, with leaving many developers without a job. And I know I have interviewed many of these developers. I have unreleased interviews as well of these same developers from these companies speaking on this. One was just released. Okay? So I know what the hell I'm talking about when I'm talking about this. It is terrible, bro. It is terrible. But I still do not think it's a video game crash. There's a lot of other things I'm going to discuss. But what I think first is, as we break this down, I think we should hear from RGT. And I want to take certain timestamps because I don't want to, I want you guys to watch the video. But I think it's only right if we show the timestamps and then we talk about it, or I talk about it right then. So I'm going to go ahead and try to share the screen. Hopefully I got this right. I screw shit up all the time. All right. And I already took a good shot. Okay. So let's share the screen and hopefully we got this right. Everybody should be able to see the screen. Okay. This is the video, and actually I want to take it out of full screen just so everybody can see, and I'm going to hit you with the thumbs up, the like, RGT, just because I want everybody to subscribe to RGT. I mean, my guy's doing numbers, man. My man pulling it in. All right, I don't watch his content, but I got to give props when props is too. All right? So, this is the video game crash of 2025. Okay, very deep topic with a lot of people losing their jobs out here, seriously. And I don't like people out here losing their jobs, okay, losing their jobs. But there's a time I want to go to about the 25-second mark, okay? So right here, we'll go about to the 1 minute mark. I want people to listen to this, okay?
A gaming crash. The gaming industry is burning down to the ground right in front of our eyes. Now, yeah.
Now, let me ask everybody, are we duplicating? Because I have a feeling we're duplicating. Hold on. I got this. I think we're duplicating. All right, there we go. We shouldn't be duplicating now. Trying to get to this. Can everybody in the chat let me know, are we duplicating? I don't want to duplicate. I want everybody's audio perfect. Okay? Let's go back here. 24. Okay, sound is good. All right, maybe it's just me. I want to stop it there. We're in the midst of a gaming crash and the gaming industry is burning down. Now there's no sound? No sound? Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. There's something going on with this, man. There we go. See, what the hell is up? What is going on with you, man? How are you playing no sound, bro? Don't ever... My bad, y'all. Let's go ahead and do that again. Okay, I hope. Everybody let me know. They said the sound was fine. We're going to go ahead and play.
A gaming crash. The gaming industry is burning down to the ground right in front of our eyes. Now, yes, it is a mostly Western related issue right now, but there are instances of it happening in the East. It's just not as prevalent in the East, and people just completely rejected that message. You know who else people rejected with their bold message? Jesus. Now, I'm not saying I am Jesus. I'm not saying I'm Metal Jesus, but what I am saying is sometimes people don't like to hear the truth because the truth scares them. And the truth is something that kind of damages their image of what they have of something, of the video game industry.
All right. Let's stop right there. RGT. Okay, I gotta go ahead. No. We gotta pull me back up. I'm gonna switch it back. I'm gonna be honest. I think the words were, we're in the midst of a gaming crash. The gaming industry is burning down. I will say this. The gaming industry is not burning down. Speaking of, industry revenue year after year is growing. Okay? For me, a gaming crash does not result in revenue growing. Okay? And people can say investors are nickel and diamond people and all that. But a video gaming crash does not mean growth of revenue. A crash goes like this. Am I mistaken? Can anybody let me know if I'm wrong? Doesn't a crash go like this? Well, I would say the gaming industry this year is projected to reach $503 billion damn dollars by the end of 2025. I don't think that's a gaming crash. 1983, I know, it was the year I was born. A lot of y'all wasn't even around, don't even give a damn, right? But 1983, there was an actual crash, okay? There was revenue dropping by 97%. Major companies were facing crashes and almost out of business. All major companies. So imagine Atari, okay? Coleco, Mattel, Activision. I can go on and on. There were so many companies back then that were suffering no longer being around. What about Sony? They still making money. Microsoft, they still making money. Nintendo, still making money. Tencent, we all know making money. So I can't get with the crash thing. I think it's an easy target, and I do feel with a lot of people about the quality of games, but I think we got to stop saying video game crash. The truth is that during the pandemic, there was too much damn hiring. They hired too many people because everybody and their mama buying Nintendo Switches. Okay, everybody and their mama was buying consoles. So everybody was in game development. Everybody was home. Everybody was quitting their jobs. Everybody was jumping into game development because it was easy. It was affordable. You had everybody who never did an at-home business, a podcast, a goddamn anything, sell lemonade on the damn street from home. They tried it during the pandemic. I thank God I was doing podcasts before the pandemic. So they can say I've been doing the shit. Okay, pandemic didn't start podcasts with me. I was doing podcasts before it. But yes, many things were started because the pandemic, and gaming had one of its biggest booms in a long time. There were so many companies that were started. There was so much massive hiring done that we are now seeing the changing of the system of gaming as we see it. It's changing. It's not the same, man. It's way different. Okay? Now, I'm going to go on and say some other thing, but I want to go ahead. Let's get to another time stamp here. This is like right here. Okay, let's go ahead. I want you guys to hear this. All right? And then I'll go ahead and bump in when I can. All right?
To the ground. There are now websites dedicated to just putting up whenever another studio layoff has happened. And I just happen to have that website pulled up right now. You could see here that this is for consecutive different years of issues within the video game industry, stemming back to 2022. Now let's do a little zoom in here. Let's do a little zoom in here so we can see some of the names, because obviously a lot of this is spawned by WB San Diego, Monolith Studios, Player First Games. Massive layoffs. Massive layoffs at WB Studio. Wonder Woman, a game that had a very large budget, canceled. Just completely vanishing from the face of the earth. A restructuring is coming. WB looking to sell off properties and stuff like that. Monolith, condemned.
Now, y'all heard it there. I agree with you, RGT. These layoffs are crazy. They're happening at rates we have never seen. But I don't think layoffs mean crash. It's just a correction. See, if you have a business, your business starts booming, and you have production go up. You have to hire employees to meet production. You then want more production. You get more employees. But then a competitor comes. Season changes. There's something that changes your productivity. Okay? So if your productivity gets changed, you still got those employees to pay. Those employees haven't gone anywhere. Your productivity is not the same. I'm sorry. That is not a crash. The developers I did interviews with, I definitely can say I feel for the loss of jobs. But they even stated as well that things are changing. Why do we have indie devs raising? Matter of fact, can we say if it's crashing, why are indie devs like this? Indie devs are like this. They ain't crashing. Indie, right now, it might be the best time ever for indie devs. Can we agree? We have seen some of the best games charting from indie devs. While you have AAA companies with too high budgets, I admit to that. Okay? And that's why these are happening. We cannot fault the system. Okay? We just can't fault the system. All right. And that's another part I'm going to get to. But one other thing I want to state. Also, this is not the only place it's happening. I think Amazon had some tech layoffs. Meta had some tech layoffs. Everybody's having tech layoffs, man. That's kind of going across because during that time of the pandemic, the tech boom happened. Everything's expanding. You're seeing a lot of layoffs happening right now. So it's just the market changing. I would call it that. But I won't call it a video game crash. Now, let's go ahead and get to the next point, okay? Let's get to the next one. All right, I think it's somewhere, I might be off on this one, but let's just try here, okay?
For things going on, for reminding you of things like Star Wars Outlaws, for things like Concord, for things like Payday 3, massive games that failed completely. Dragon Age. They just announced that it's going to PlayStation Plus because nobody's buying it. But where do these what is the problem here? The problem starts, for me, with the higher-ups. The higher-ups at these companies are morons. And I've said this a million times, but I'm going to say it again. These people saw what was happening during COVID. They saw the system sales. They saw the software sales. They saw the renewed interest in the video game industry and literally thought to themselves, hey, this is sustainable. This is the future. As time goes on, people are going to buy more games. This is just the baseline. Now it's only up from here. So what did they do? They hired people. They expanded studios. Anyone with a brain, a functioning brain in their head would look at what happened. Look at the fact that people were stuck at home, had no other options. You had no other options.
All right, let's stop right there. He kind of stated a lot of what I spoke about just a moment ago with the pandemic. I agree. You know, you didn't really have, he got a point. You really didn't have much options, right? I think a little differently. I think that, first of all, AAA budgets way too high, okay? I think that's what's sparking a lot of that. I don't think it's necessarily the pandemic. The pandemic did play a part of it, but I think AAA budgets are just way too high, man. That's just me. They just like these budgets, they keep going higher and higher. Call of Duty is one of them. I love Call of Duty. I think it's the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. I'm a fanboy, so excuse me. But the point of this is AAA budgets are way too high when you have indie devs who are spending a fraction of the cost making amazing games. So RGT, I agree with you, but indie games are thriving. So is that a crash? One thing we can say is during the pandemic, it allowed a lot of indie devs to focus on games at home, master their crafts. Now they're becoming, so there are certain people that are taking the brunt of it because all these job openings came. And by the way, people were paid. Well, we're going to be mad when the pandemic happened and everybody got jobs and everybody was being paid and everybody was getting paychecks. It was cool then. But this is something that I hate in life. It's just unfair. And that's why a lot of times you got to be able to see things coming and be able to pivot and make moves fast. But this was inevitable. And that's something that he did say. So we'll agree on that. Okay. Now, it's only like 2 more points I'm going to make, and then we'll go ahead and move on. But I want to go ahead. And then there's somebody a couple people. I know we got Joe here. I want to bring on a couple things we're going to say too as well. All right. So let's go ahead and play this other part here.
Chasing trends from 5+ years ago. That's why you see this immersion or explosion, I should say, of these live service games. That what's happening now? They're dropping like flies because there's been so many failures. For every Fortnite, for every Helldivers 2, there's a Concord. There's a Lawbreakers. There's all the games that Ubisoft and EA made. There's a Knockout Ball, Multiverses, all this crap, all this live service slop that is from a time frame, from a mentality standpoint of a bygone era. People are tired of things like these games. And really, I think Helldivers' success has to kind of, lean onto the fact that this was a game that originally was a sequel to the original Helldivers that Sony didn't really have any involvement in.
Okay. Stop right there. Let's stop right there. Live service games. Let's talk about that. Let's start there. Live service games. He did mention Helldivers 2. Success, right? Fortnite, success. We have live service games that are a success, but I'm not going to try to even ride that horse off into sunset. I give you, live service games may not suit people very well. They don't like live service games. That is the general consensus that I feel from everyone. I differ. I think that live service games, as long as they're free, offered for free, that they're great. That's me. That's my personal opinion. Allow everyone the opportunity to continue paying $30,000 if they want to. I'm not. Okay? I'm not going to spend $30,000, but if they want to and they want to be the best in the world, so be it. Okay? That is why these companies are making so much revenue. It's not us that are buying 1 or 2 games. It's the small 5% that are spending $30,000 on a game, $100,000 on a game, $50,000 on a game. It's them. It's them. Okay? Talk to them. Talk to them. One thing I did notice, he didn't say single player games. Elden Ring. Elden Ring right now, how many did it sell? I don't even got the numbers here. Do I got the numbers? Where are the numbers? 20 million plus sales for Elden Ring. Okay? I see here, I got other numbers. Spider-Man 2, 10 million in 3 months. Baldur's Gate 3. These are a lot of single player games. It's single player. Okay? All those games thrived. All of them. I don't think that happens during a crash. And the live service failures don't mean the industry is crashing. Maybe live service games are just sucking right now. Okay? I don't think it's the industry crashing. 1983, y'all, when I say a crash happened, they released so many crappy E.T. and Pac-Man ports. Everybody was releasing them. You didn't know who was official. Right? Everybody put them out. This person put it out. This person put it out. It was so many shitty ports. Nobody wanted to buy them. They all played alike, or they had one thing different. You bought 3 ET ports and it was only one little thing different. And you realize I'm spending my money on shitty stuff. So it went downhill. Okay? People realized that quick. Wasn't a lot of people into gaming, and you're trying to build this market and you start throwing a bunch of shitty games out there. That's what happens. Right? So you had those companies fail. They just failed, okay? Now, I want to get to Baxter said, but we're going to go ahead. Wasteland, what's going on? To justify Helldivers being paid, though, their battle passes are in-game forever, unlike Fortnite, where I pay $17 a month on crew. Well said, Wasteland, well said. I am one as well. I play Clash Royale. I've been playing it for at least 5 years, yes. And when they started the pass, it wasn't a diamond pass and a gold pass. It was just a pass. I bought it every month. They switched from gold to diamond. I bought it every month. I recently stopped paying for it, I would say, the past 3 months ago. It is something that I've spent a lot of money. I probably paid Supercell a hefty dollar in paying for those passes. But guess what? Supercell got more money out of me than Activision did with Call of Duty. It's just smart marketing, man. And I hate it, but it's smart. And I'm a person that's going to call smart marketing what it is. Okay, if I'm going to spend $70 on a game and you can get a battle pass and you get $120 out of me in 1 year, You won. You got more money out of me, and that's the goal. So it's just unfortunate. That's where the industry is, man. Like, that's just unfortunate. All right. But let's go ahead and get to it. I want to play this next part here, and then we'll go ahead and move on. I think it's around, I've been guessing these numbers. I wrote down timestamps, but the timestamps are off, I can tell. So let's see.
For some reason, we've made our budgets so big for these games that it's not realistic. It is not realistic to sell 10 to 15 million units of a game at $70 that looks pretty mediocre, but you invested all this money into it. I don't understand how we got to this point. Because if anything, let's call a spade here. If anything, game development has gotten leagues easier. Leagues easier. Game development used to be a very strict club to get into. Game development, you had to be one of those computer nerds who just knew how to program stuff. And that's why people like John Romero kind of became like a face of an industry at one point in time, because he didn't look like your prototypical guy who sat in a basement with like glasses and, you know, a little molester mustache and stuff like that. He looked like a cool guy. So people gravitated towards that. It was very hard to get into games. But now with all these tools, with all these
Hey, hold on. Someone told me. I'm glad they messaged me. It wasn't on big screen. Okay, I'm going to pull it back on big screen. Let's go ahead and play that part because some people have missed it. Thank you for the, I love having my directors, producers, everybody on the side. Thank you for that. Okay. Still let me know it wasn't on big screen.
For some reason, we've made our budgets so big for these games.
Now, I don't want to go ahead and play all that
realistic.
Again, he was talking a lot.
Still trying to taste that dragon of diminishing returns. That dragon of, oh, you know what? We could have someone voice this, but if we get a Hollywood person to voice it.
Yo, I want to say this, man. We talk about the industry. He talked about being more accessible than ever. Luke, what's going on? Dap me up, Harry Knuckles and all. Let me pull me up big screen, man. Luke, what's going on? Dap me up. Good to see you, man. Everybody out there, if you please can, hit the like, share out the content if you can. RGT85, I'm sorry, man. I'm tearing you up right now. I ain't gonna lie. I'm tearing you up. I do feel you with the crash point right now. I'm fired up. I'm getting all these points. I wrote down bullet points, okay? And I'm going down the list. All right, and I'm part chat GPTing you to death. I ain't gonna lie. I'm part chat GPTing you to death right now. But nonetheless, something I beat, like, you know, over and over again is indie developers. He's right. Game development is easier than ever. It's more affordable than ever. Still costs some money, but it's more affordable than ever. So you find a lot of people jumping into game development and being able to make a game. That is why you have indie devs thriving. That is why. Without the pandemic, do we see indie devs where we are today? I don't think we give them credit for it. So all the stuff we could talk about, do we see indie devs where they are today without the pandemic? Because we had a lot of devs come from it. Okay? I'm going to just say that. Also, tech tools. That's a lot of reason why you're seeing people jump in. You got Unity, Unreal, all these different AI tools that make it easier than ever. Yes, but at the same time, you have AAA, budgets out there with so much money. They're spending years and they're coming out with half-ass products. That we can agree on. Cyberpunk should not happen. Okay, I'm glad they fixed it. No Man's Sky should not happen. I'm glad they fixed it, but those are things that should not happen. Okay? They shouldn't happen, but I'm be honest, the industry changing, RGT. It's not, it's not what you're stating, man. All right? It's not. So, let's go ahead and, oh my goodness. Hold up. There's one I want to pull up. It's around here. It's a little further in the video. Because I ain't going to lie. One thing I want to say, RGT, is you hilarious, though. You funny. You get me laughing. I'm laughing already, too. Okay. Let's go ahead and play.
But we're not done yet. No. Because there's another problem, folks. And it's a problem I've alluded to several times, and I will continue to allude to it. This toxic positivity bullshit. My God in heaven, the virtue signaling, toxic positivity bullshit. We learned we literally learned that Concord failed. And one of the reasons why was because of toxic positivity, because nobody questioned anything. Everyone just went along with things because it could be seen as hurtful. Disagreeing with someone, especially when we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, but strip away the money. Strip away the money. Disagreeing with someone is not disrespectful. It's not rude. It's how the world works. Not everyone is going to think exactly like you. Not everyone is going to see a situation exactly how you see it. And all because that person does not see a situation or a thing the same way as you does not make that person a bad person. It gives you a different perspective. Just like you want to tell your story. You want your perspective to get out there, but you're not willing to accept other people's perspectives. And you see it time and time again with this hive-like mentality, toxic positivity. Everything is great. Everything is awesome.
All right, he going off. He going off right now. And I'm going to be honest. RGT's not saying what he really want to say. And I think a lot of people know what he's trying to say. I don't sugarcoat shit. I'm be honest. What he's stating about toxic positivity is the same thing some people will state with woke. He's talking about video games where if you do certain things, as far as give an example, if there is a video game with one race of people, there is going to be something possibly said about it because there is one race of people. If there is a video game that has gender roles where one gender is dominating another gender, the game can't be released because there'll be a group of people attacking that game to not be released. He's talking it and he's saying toxic positivity, but what we call it nowadays is woke culture. Excuse me. And I'm gonna be honest, it is something that frustrates me at times. I'm not gonna say my age, but let's just say I was born in the 80s. Okay? And I come from a time where I seen a lot, man. I watched Looney Tune cartoons where, they showed some, when I look back at it, yes, there was racial profiling going on. When I watch Tom and Jerry and I see the maid, yes, there was racial profiling going on. There was a lot of subtle things that I did not know about. That's what they're trying to erase, because through those things, even though we are fine, one thing I can agree on is it being there should have never been there in the first place. I'm not going to go away from that. Okay? Shouldn't have been there in the first place. But being that it's there, the fact that we're not affected by it, we cannot sit here and say that it's okay it's in there. So I'm going to say that. I can see both sides of it. I will say toxic positivity in certain games ruins it when you have games like, and I think it was World of Warcraft, when they removed a certain type of people and put them with another race of people. Or these people were stated to be made fun of because the color of them were brown and they were considered to be black, but they were really an alien race. And it was too close, so they changed it to something else. You know, you get all those type of things. I'm sorry. That shit does piss me off. I'm with you on that, RGT. Yes, that shit is woke. We need to get off that shit. Everybody needs to stop getting their feelings hurt, because sometimes if I have a vision, that vision cannot be carried through or lived through without me doing it. And a lot of movies seem to get a pass that video games do not. And I agree with you on that. That is something we terribly agree on. Terribly agree on. All right? It is a little too much. You call it toxic positivity. I call it woke. But gamers are more critical than ever. Other than that, if you want to say that, you know, toxic positivity, it ain't that we being all positive. No, we are totally tearing up Cyberpunk when it comes out. We tore up Redfall. We tore up Concord. We tore up Battlefield. We tore up every single game that comes out that is bad. Us as gamers, X.com, Twitter, formerly known as, y'all already know what happens. IGN, Kotaku, all these people, y'all know what happens. They tear them up. So we critical. We very critical of games. All right? Now, I could go on and on. I'm not going to go too much further than that, y'all, because there's a lot I got more stuff I can go on about, you know, how the industry is not crashing. Look at this. I can go on and on. I can talk about Atari and Mattel, how they really lost money in 1983 during the crash. That's a real crash. Okay, I could talk about ColecoVision. A lot of people don't know. I love ColecoVision, man. How they went down, another big name company back then in the crash. That is a crash. I could talk about that. I could talk about a lot of other things, but we're not going to do that today. Okay? We're going to move on. We're going to go ahead and move on. Now, I got my man Joe there, which I do want to bring on. So I'm going to run through these next ones very quickly, and we'll do the Choose Your Fate segment where we can bring Joe on. Now, as you see, Mama Dukes, shout out to Mom Dukes. You know, everybody don't know Mom Dukes tuned into the episode too. Mom Dukes, I'm lighting his ass up, Mama. I'm lighting his ass up, Mom. No, I'm joking. RGT's cool, man. I actually think that's why I wanted to say this is not no like RGT. Oh my gosh, he's so dumb. But one thing I will say, just to wrap all this up before I move on, I do think that it's very easy to grab onto certain things nowadays because we see it so much time and time again. And I'm even falling victim to that as well with a lot of things. I'm trying now to take what I see and trying to dive a bit deeper into it. And this is not the first video by RGT. He actually had a video game crash of 2024 video, right? There were other people who released video game crash videos. Joe even said he predicted a video game crash. And a video game crash is I think we say it, and what we mean by it is not the definition. I think that's more what I'm trying to get at. I think what we mean by video game crash is we're going to get to a point where we will see a revenue loss in gaming. But if you lost, let's say 5% of revenue in gaming from year to year, is that a crash? If you see, let's say a lot of the paid games and all the good games are, gone. And now all you got is this, live service crap. You got microtransactions everywhere, but yet it's still profitable. Is that a crash? It's not a crash, but it's gaming changing. All right, it's gaming changing. That's just me. All right, now we're going to go ahead and move on. And I definitely want to get everybody's opinions on that because I know people might not fare with what I say on that. I might stand alone on this one, but that's why I say that's what I do.